Part of being an agent for Forestry Division usually requires initiates to chop the largest pile of wood you can imagine. However, I'm using my press pass and getting a tour guide escort around the crime scenes. The Justice gets enough complaints about Forestry Division's technical jurisdiction, but I'm more than happy to go along with it for diplomacy's sake. Both comrades of Shadow Squad will vouch for me. The commander would rather turn me into a howler monkey, so that's a no-go. My guide is a Keebler sort of elf by the name of Ignatius Huxley. He spoke in rhymes for the first half hour of our conversation, and the novelty wore off really fast. And I had to let him know about that, and he put a quick sock in it. Thank Crom. But I digress. Huxley says the 100-acre wood is a lost world scenario, and they did issue me a carbine rifle and gave me and the cameraman bayonets for them. Our time at the practice range was 1 hour at most. But what is there to shooting? Back to the report. The 100-acre wood. Green zone reports indicated dire wolves and orcs and giant spider trolls, Pikachu, Bigfoot, and the Chupacabra families all basically trying to out-party each other out of the forest. So yeah, no one goes in there unarmed. Rules is rules. I'm also being told to hurry because the evidence is particularly gory and has already begun to be divided up between the maggot union movers. And if you know that particular collective bargaining entity, they work very, very fast. Huxley drove us to the station just outside the 100-acre wood enclosure. I asked him why there was a steel dome put around it, but my question was answered right away as a pterodactyl appeared and tried to escape. It was prevented from doing so. Seemed extremely hungry and beyond consoling now that its meal was out of this reach. Huxley laughed and assured me that the enclosure has a built-in gas ventilation fan that blew poison into the 100-acre wood biodome. It was designed that way, the little culinary elf said in a cheerful tone. The gas is the byproduct of nuclear power plants, and the effect it has on the creatures is extremely potent. He then produced a sort of set of keys and unlocked a very unfriendly-looking door that brought us to a room with hazmat suits. Standard stuff in the punishment corps, especially in the waste removal divisions. Another, even more malicious-looking portal awaited us, and Huxley's eye scan got us through that one. Sure enough, the first thing I saw and smelt and tasted was dead pterodactyl. It was the next thing that I would feel, unfortunately, as one of the grimy buggers fell right on top of us. The stench is undescribable, but the feeling was something like that, the skin of an apple being inside of a dead dog's mouth. Once we both crawled out of the twitching sky reptile's corpse, Huxley pointed to a distant path. He was pointing towards a large stone tower, or at least it was the ruins of a once unimaginably tall stone tower. The more notable thing about it was the forest beneath the tower that was full of bodies of not just ladies with very long hair, but some males who had apparently fallen from the ruin of the tower, only to be smashed and strangled by the trees waiting below. If these were not suicides or rural urban explorers not following the warning signs, then they were also part of this killing spree. I was being given a grand tour of circumstances, though. If only I had known. Huxley pointed to the small wood shed by the cabin. I immediately noted that it was burnt to a crisp. We lost an agent in that thing. Poor fellow thought it was an outhouse, but it was a sort of entity. Long story short, we burnt the creature and the agent. It was the only way. Huxley said, and he shook his head, then turned away. We began to walk towards a treehouse nearby that I had noticed also had countless bodies hanging from every possible place a body could hang. This is actually our corpse farm. Forensic research. Absolutely brilliant work they do, said Huxley. While we approached Grandmother's house, the little elf told me a story about the tower and how the forensic teams had acquired the bodies for the corpse farms. It gave a whole new level of respected and ultimate concern for well-being of all who are part of Forestry Division. The problem of trespassers and corpses for the cause of scientific mumbo-jumbo being solved simultaneously is brilliant. Eccentric but brilliant. Our approach ended at the door that was also covered in blood, and maybe several different kinds of blood. The door handle wasn't a door handle anymore. Let's just say. Looking back at this now, I see that Huxley wasn't showing me those things to impress me or because they were relevant to the investigations. In a passive-aggressive sort of way, I was being shown my fate if I were to entertain any notions of wandering out unescorted. I wouldn't have wanted to run and be separated from my guide anyway. The whole working together with a softy agent was tension at its best. And the stakes for him seemed to warrant a state of constant upbeat jump to his every movement. Let's skip the house for now, he said, animating every word. I took this word for it, and the little guy chuckled again in his jolly gallows humor kind of way. Just wait till you see the basement. Makes the bedroom scene look like a modest painting, and that's saying a lot, said Huxley. And he was right, it turned out the big bad wolf met with an even more awful fate. Let's just leave it at that for now. If Scal knew what was done to one of her grandpuppies, well, she is basically Ragnarok for that very reason. The last location was the woodland creature habitat that had been mustard gassed and demolished by years of tractors and front loaders moving in and out of the two construction sites. Not a single survivor of the massacre remained. Huxley regretfully informed me there was one adolescent female badger named Michelle, who passed away from brutal atrophy of her lungs. I suddenly witnessed then and there the once jolly Keebler looked off into the distance and said, we must find who did this. We began to make our way to a treehouse where I was told Tarzan used to host MMA events till Pater put an end to it all. There was more Massacre, and it was sad to see so many iconic jungle characters' body parts made to be confetti for this gore-filled party. We came to the balcony on the first floor of the treehouse, meaning it was basically what we would call a patio or porch to us. I told Huxley we were here to find out who did this, and that Shadow Squad sent only the best. Yes, quite so. Said Huxley had placed his hands behind his back, and we went side. Would you believe me if I told you I think I know who did this? He said out of nowhere. And I asked him if he knew everyone involved. Oh no. Huxley replied in a chuckle and devilish grin. It's one person. Oh yes. But maybe not a person, I mean, as an elf we consider humans who are people therefore persons to be the children of all that is evil and wrong in the world, and the cosmos. His outburst didn't go unnoticed by me, and I reacted by staring at him while he began laughing, louder and louder. I tried to make my scan of the area less obvious, but I was correct to suspect that I was now alone with Huxley, and no agents or rangers were anywhere near. I immediately responded to Huxley's laughter with my own, and that stopped him from laughing. His eyes were now a crimson red with gold flecks in them. What's so funny? He scoffed. So I started monologuing. In a clear, loud voice, I announced, the thing is the only reason that elves are still around isn't because they're moral or good or a service to nature. No, elves are classified as a slightly taller fairy and are notably without wings or powers. And to be honest, that's all that keeps them from being exterminated by the Cinderella Protocol. That sounds cruel, but those hostilities between us are supposed to be over. So what's with the humans, our cosmic devil children? If anyone looks more like Admiral Mephistopheles, it's you cheeky little rubbish eaters. And I reminded him of that, which didn't really seem to go over well. I was trying not to show any more tension or my muscles that were being ready for combat. Everything from this elf was screaming, I will kill you and eat you. So I began putting things together out loud. You have made a particularly terrible enemy out of Shadow Squad if this is your intent. I told him that Shadow Squad will be coming back for me anytime now. You are a terrible liar, Agent, said Huxley. I hear in remarkable ways, you know. I had to decide if engaging him right then and there would give me the advantage. Short people, well, a short person that had managed to kill like every traveller in the woods and blame it on a wolf since 1812. Meaning his reflexes were probably sharper than mine. That basically gave me no advantage, thus I couldn't go forward till he escalated it. He had to wait for me to make the first move but decided against it and lunged directly for my jugular. His teeth had chomped a portion of flesh just above my left shoulder blade, but he would regret using his teeth to hang on to me. All I had to do was jump an angle, my shoulder downward. In his rage, Huxley did not see what I was doing and I flung myself off the patio and a satisfying snap followed when we met with the ground. His neck was broke, but his teeth stayed in my shoulder. I hope he didn't have rabies. That would really, really suck.